Imagine sailing through life's storms with a tranquil mind. This is not a fantasy, but a reality that can be achieved through mastering emotional control. Our emotions, as powerful as they are, can often lead us astray, clouding our judgment, interfering with our mental health, and straining our relationships. But what if we could approach life's challenges with a calm, steady hand, guided not by fleeting emotions, but by deliberate thought? Enter Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher and emperor of Rome, who extensively explored the terrain of emotional control. He penned down timeless wisdom that can serve as a compass in our journey towards emotional mastery. His teachings, rooted in Stoicism, provide us with 7 key lessons that can help us navigate the tumultuous seas of our emotions. Harnessing the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, let's dive into the 7 Stoic principles that can guide us in managing our emotions. The first lesson from Marcus Aurelius is to focus on what you can control. The great philosopher and emperor understood the futility of investing emotional energy into circumstances beyond our command. Imagine finding yourself in traffic congestion. The common reaction is to stress, but can we control the traffic? No. However, we can control our response to it. Instead of fuming, we could listen to a podcast, practice deep breathing, or even use the time to plan our day. This shift in focus, from uncontrollable external events to our controllable internal reactions, is a powerful tool in maintaining emotional equilibrium. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So next time you find yourself in a situation where you feel out of control, remember to divert your energy towards what's within your reach. By focusing on what we can control, we can conserve our energy and maintain our peace. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to accept what happens. In the grand theater of life, things don't always go according to plan. Sometimes the curtain rises on scenes we never expected, and we're left grappling with the unexpected. It's here that the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius shines. He urges us to embrace the unpredictable, to accept what happens without struggle or resistance. Imagine you've prepared meticulously for a presentation, only for your laptop to crash at the critical moment. Instead of succumbing to frustration or anger, Marcus Aurelius would counsel us to accept the situation. This doesn't mean passivity or resignation, but a calm acknowledgement of reality. From this acceptance, we can find the clarity to adapt, to improvise, to find an alternate path forward. By accepting what happens, we relinquish the exhausting battle against the inevitable. We free ourselves to respond with resilience and grace. Acceptance, as Marcus Aurelius tells us, is a path to peace. The third Stoic principle is not to take things personally. This principle, championed by Marcus Aurelius, is a powerful tool for emotional control. Imagine this. You're at work, and a colleague criticizes your project. It's easy to feel insulted or offended, right? But wait, Marcus Aurelius would advise us to view this situation differently. Instead of letting this criticism hurt us, he would urge us to detach our emotions from the situation. It's not a personal attack, it's simply feedback. And feedback, whether positive or negative, is valuable information that can help us grow and improve. The key is to understand that people's comments or actions often reflect their own realities, not ours. If we learn not to take things personally, we can maintain our inner peace and emotional control, unaffected by external circumstances. Remember, not everything is about us, and understanding this can free us from unnecessary emotional turmoil. Marcus Aurelius emphasizes the importance of self-control. This Stoic Roman emperor, known for his wisdom, advocated for self-control as a cornerstone of emotional management. He viewed it as a tool to navigate the tumultuous seas of our emotions. Picture this. You're standing in a long, slow-moving queue. Your patience is wearing thin. You feel the urge to lash out, to vent your frustration. But hold on. This is where Marcus Aurelius's principle comes into play. Instead of succumbing to the impulse, you take a deep breath. You remind yourself that losing control won't make the line move faster. You choose to observe your frustration without letting it dictate your actions. That, my friends, is the practice of self-control. It's about recognizing our emotions, but not letting them take the wheel. It's an art, a discipline that can be honed with time and patience. Self-control, a virtue that can transform our lives, is within our grasp if we choose to exercise it. The fifth principle is to be mindful of our thoughts. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, placed great emphasis on the power of our thoughts. He believed that our thoughts have a profound effect on our emotions and consequently our actions. Let's consider an example. Imagine you are stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting, and you start to panic. Your thoughts might spiral into negativity. You may begin to imagine worst-case scenarios. But if you pause, take a deep breath, and mindfully observe your thoughts, you realize they are just thoughts, not reality. You can then choose to replace these negative thoughts with positive ones. Instead of panicking, you might think, "I've done my best to be on time. I can only control what's within my power." This act of mindfulness helps us to control our emotions and responses instead of being controlled by them. Our thoughts shape our world. By being mindful, we can shape a world that is calm and peaceful. Marcus Aurelius encourages us to practice gratitude. This Stoic philosopher and emperor understood the power of thankfulness. He believed that by focusing on the good in our lives, we can shift our perspective from negative to positive, reframing our thoughts and emotions. Let's envision a common scenario. You've had a long day at work, your commute was a nightmare, and you come home to a sink full of dishes. It's easy to wallow in the negatives, but what if we flip the script? Consider the job that provides for you, the transport that gets you home safely, and even those dishes, a sign of the nourishment you've had. By consciously choosing to find the silver lining, we can turn our frustrations into appreciation. It may not change the situation, but it certainly changes our response to it. And so, Marcus Aurelius teaches us that gratitude, a simple yet powerful tool, can help us find joy in the everyday. The final Stoic principle from Marcus Aurelius is to remember our mortality. A simple yet profound thought. Marcus Aurelius believed that by reminding ourselves of our mortality, we could live life more authentically, fearlessly. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't a morbid thought, but rather a liberating one. Imagine you're overly anxious about an upcoming presentation. You're losing sleep. Your appetite is gone, and you can't seem to focus on anything else. Now, consider this. In the grand scheme of life and death, how significant is this presentation? Will it matter 100 years from now? Probably not. This perspective can help alleviate anxiety and refocus our energy on what truly matters. In remembering our mortality, we can find the courage to live authentically and fearlessly. So, let's live, not as if we have forever, but as if each moment is precious. Because it is. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor and a philosopher, has much to teach us about emotional control. Woven through the tapestry of his wisdom are 7 Stoic lessons that serve as beacons to guide us along the path of emotional fortitude. First, he urges us to focus on what we can control. When the winds of life blow harshly and we find ourselves in the midst of turmoil, we must remember to anchor our energies on the things within our sphere of influence. It's about steering our own ship rather than trying to calm the storm. Secondly, he encourages acceptance. Life will throw curveballs, and rather than resisting or fighting against the tide, we should learn to flow with it. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It's about embracing reality and working with it, not against it. The third lesson is about not taking things personally. When arrows of criticism or judgment are fired our way, we should remember that they often say more about the archer than the target. It's about understanding that everyone's perspective is shaped by their own experiences. Fourthly, Marcus Aurelius emphasizes the importance of self-control. The strength of our character is often tested in moments of temptation. By practicing self-control, we demonstrate the power we have over our actions and reactions. The fifth lesson is mindfulness of our thoughts. Our minds can either be serene gardens or stormy seas, depending on the thoughts we entertain. By being mindful, we can cultivate a garden of positivity and peace. The sixth principle is the practice of gratitude. It's about appreciating what we have rather than lamenting what we don't. This shift in perspective can turn a mundane existence into a life full of wonder and joy. Finally, he reminds us of our mortality. This isn't to induce fear, but to inspire us to live fully, knowing that our time here is finite. These lessons from Marcus Aurelius are not just philosophical musings, but practical tools we can incorporate into our daily lives. As we journey on the path of self-improvement, let's remember his words and strive to implement these lessons. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength."